I was doing a little homework this morning. So let me throw this at you and tell me what you think. Trading into the top 5. People say you got to take a quarterback in round 1, but top 5 is a different animal. It's the top 5. It's way up there. And since 1990, the only top 5 picks quarterbacks who've won Super Bowls are Peyton and Eli. That's it. So a lot of these guys aren't exactly going to live up to expectations. Then I took it a step further. What about the guys who were taken top 5 by teams who traded into that spot? Traded up. So like the pressure is even higher. It's not just a top 5 pick. It's multiple first rounders. They mortgaged everything for you. And since 1990, there's 6, all right? Jeff George, 1990. Indy traded up to the number 1 pick. That didn't work out. 2009, Jets traded up for Mark Sanchez. That didn't work out. 2012, Washington traded up for RG3. 16, the Rams traded up for Goff. 16, Eagles traded up for Wentz. 18, Jets traded up for Darnold. Why do you think it's never worked when a team is traded into the top 5 for a quarterback? Is that just a coincidence? What's up with that?
How many of first-rounder quarterbacks in the past 20 years became long-term starters for NFL teams?
Yeah, maybe about 25%. Maybe about 25%. Yeah.
But only about 25%.
Yes.
And if we are trying to analyze those quarterbacks for who these teams were traded up, even less of them became regular starters in the NFL. Even less of them became franchise quarterbacks.
Yes.
So what I think right now is I shared on Twitter about 2 weeks ago that basically right now in the NFL, Kyle and John Lynch just called an all-in before the flop. If we are talking about poker.
Oh, yeah. That's exactly what they did.
So what I was talking about before this offseason was that I do think that they are on a hot seat. Even though they are not talking about that, even though nobody is talking about that, it's just a kind of Chad York politic. I think that he is not talking about that because last season was really disappointing. And after not trying to get Tom Brady, just sticking with Jimmy Garoppolo, who injured again, well, they are on a hot seat. And what I think of that, it was just a panic move.
Yeah, I agree.
They knew those examples from the NFL from the years before even better than we knew that.
Kyle did this in Washington. He's the one who traded up for RG3. It cost him his job. Maybe it wasn't his idea, but he knows the consequences. Yeah. So, look, here, tell me, this is my theory here on why it's such a risky thing. You pointed out, it's just drafting a quarterback in round 1 is risky on its own. But if you're trading into the top 5, that means you found a trade partner who doesn't think the quarterback you're trading up for is that good. That team is there. They're like, you know what? Nah, we don't want him. So you're taking a quarterback that there's like a difference of opinion on. He's not a lock. It's some guy that some people like and some people don't. And that team that's sitting at 1, 2, or 3, in this case, it's the Dolphins. They're like, okay, we could take the 3rd best quarterback here with our 3rd pick, but we don't want to. We don't even like Tua that much. We benched Tua 70 times last year, but we don't want this guy. But the Niners are calling us and they're like, you're wrong. All right. You wouldn't take him with 1/3. We would take him with our next 3 first-round picks plus a 3rd. That's how wrong you are. And so now it's like this little game of chicken where 2 teams have this way difference of opinion. And usually the team that's more conservative that trades down is right. So the Niners are banking that the Dolphins are like way, 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 way wrong. And they need a quarterback. They know Tua is not that special. If they thought Justin Fields or Trey Lance or Mac Jones was super special, they'd be taking that guy. That's all I'm saying.
We have talked about it before that I do think that there's no safe quarterback picks besides of Trevor Lawrence. He is the only one, and I'm pretty sure that he can fail as well. But most of these guys are just boom or bust picks, as I said before. I don't see all of them as a starter in the NFL. I don't know if there will be any of them who will be a starter in the next 3 years.
Yeah. And that's why go ahead.
We just traded 3 years of first-round draft picks for a single year quarterback, and I'm pretty sure that whoever we draft will be just a 1-year starter for the 49ers. Mark my words, guys. So You can hate me for this, but I must say that.
When I say like, hey, let's be careful here. Let's look at the odds. Let's look at history and acknowledge that whichever quarterback the Niners choose is probably not going to live up to expectations. Take the player that is a lock to be great. Take Kyle Pitts. People say, yeah, he is the best player. He is better than these quarterbacks, but you can't not take a quarterback. You have to take a quarterback if you trade into the top 5. But I'm saying, like, every time a team is traded into the top 5 for a quarterback, it's never worked out. So why do you have to take a quarterback if you trade? I know the Falcons traded up and took Julio Jones. I mean, they didn't win a Super Bowl, but he's the best Falcon of all time, and he would have won a Super Bowl if Kyle hadn't blown it. So I just don't buy this thing that you have to take a quarterback if you trade into the top 5. I mean, history says that every team that felt that way was wrong. The Niners could be the team that bucks the trend, but I don't see that history says you have to take a quarterback. Maybe history says you shouldn't take a quarterback if you trade the top 5. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and the other thing is that most of the people said that right now in these years, those colleges who are training elite quarterbacks to the NFL are making a way better job, but it was just because Justin Herbert and because of his ability to move with his new team. But to be honest, I do think that he is part of his greatness is that teams had no tape of him. They couldn't see him in training camps. They couldn't see him during preseason games because there were none of them. And at the end of the season, there were teams who can easily stop him. And it was just because they had the tapes. They knew what they should do to stop him.
Yeah.
And I saw that most of the people says that Kyle Shanahan may find a way to create a playbook for his new quarterback. To be honest, if you are drafting a quarterback to an exact system, there are no systems that may live more than 3 years in the NFL. And if you are building up a system for a single QB who you are trading 3 first-rounders for, then it's kind of a death of a team.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.